Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to do another more complicated example. So what I'm going to have you guys do is pause this video. If you want to do it right now, that's fine, and then in a couple seconds I'm going to do the problem out myself, and you can see if you did it the same way or a different way, and if you did it right. Alright, so the way I did this problem was that I first distributed the 1 plus cosine times 1 minus cosine and got 1 minus cosine squared. And then on the bottom I did the same thing and got 1 minus sine squared. And now on the right you can see that sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So if you subtract cosine squared or sine squared, you can get like 1 minus cosine squared equals sine squared, or 1 minus sine squared equals cosine squared. Now we know from before that sine squared over cosine squared is tan squared. And so we can add sine squared to that as the problem shows above. And we get on the right 1 minus cosine to the 4th over cosine squared. Now, we changed sine squared over cosine squared to tan squared, but we can change it back because in this problem we can multiply each side by cosine squared to get rid of the denominator on the right. And so we do that and we get sine squared plus sine squared times cosine squared, because the cosine squareds in the left part of the equation canceled out, and on the right the cosine squareds canceled out. So you get sine squared plus sine squared times cosine squared equals 1 minus cosine to the 4th. Now on the right, 1 minus cosine to the 4th, obviously that's just cosine. So what we can do is switch all the signs on the left to cosines. Now we know that from before, it's sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared, so we can put those in. And when we do that, the work is shown out. You get 1 minus cosine squared plus 1 minus cosine squared times cosine squared. And so the negative cosine squared and the cosine squared cancel out, and then you're left with the same thing on both sides of the equation. Now this was one way to do it. You could do it many different ways. You could have replaced the cosine to the 4th with cosine squared times cosine squared, and replaced one of those cosine squareds with 1 minus sine squared, and then the other cosine squared with 1 minus sine squared. You could have done it in many different ways. But this was just one way. Hopefully this video helped you, and the previous video did too. Thanks for watching, and check out my next video too, please. Thank you, bye!